Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today in these difficult times. Today, we have a very important webinar. This is going from before you were developing your prototype, you're developing some sort of product, but then what do you think and what do you do? As they say, the product alone is never enough. A lot of it, a lot of it is distribution. It's about thinking in terms of business, not just in terms of I want to make this my perfect product, but also thinking about channels, thinking about cost, thinking about your value proposition, like in marketing. And we have today with us our webinar mentor, Mr. Jamal Fayoumi, who is both an iPark startup founder and as well as an iPark team member, operations manager. So he's seen it from your perspective, and now he's seeing it from our perspective. So he kind of gives a nice total blend of a profile who would understand this thing from multiple angles. I will let Jamal begin the presentation. But to note that we sent Jamal, and I've mentioned this before, but just reminding you, every year we send startups to Draper University in California. It would be like, let's say, over 100 companies there competing in the incubation in California. They invest in one or two companies, $100,000. And when we sent Jamal and Fixaligner to United States, they actually came back with the investment. So we're very proud of this. And hopefully some of you will also follow in Jamal's footsteps and maybe get an investment from Draper University. Without further ado, I'm going to leave you with the business model canvas and business modeling and Jamal Fayoumi.
Thank you, Annie, and hello, everyone. Let me tell you that this is the most exciting subject that I practice, and also I would like to communicate my experience. It's not an ABC, it's not an academic background. I hope this webinar reflects a more practical way about how we develop a business model, plus history about the business model, how it came, and how we can tailor it for startups. I have 20 years of experience, more than 20 years of experience in the corporate world, dealing with conventional businesses. So as you can see, like we do business plans, we do financial modeling, but the conventional type. Post-COVID, I decided to pivot from corporate to startup world to be more into the tech industry. And I got introduced to this business model Canva and Lean Canva, and it was something strange for me. I can tell you, you need to change your mindset. I think you've been into the entrepreneurial mindset training programs and modules. Believe me, the Lean Canva or the business model Canva, to run it properly, you need to have this mindset. And please, I will share my screen now. I'm just gonna do some small introduction about the business model, about the Lean Canva. And I'm also gonna present to you how I have developed the Lean Canva for my startup as a practical exercise. And I'm gonna give you some input and insights, what was my thinking process. And finally, I would like to link this Lean Canva output to present for you the pitch deck, which will you prepare at the final stage of this program, and how they are interconnected with each other. So I will share the screen now.
Okay. We see your calendar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you see my?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I try to change a slide so we see if it works. Okay.
All right. So as I mentioned before, the practice that for conventional business and the corporate world, you need to prepare a business plan, which is comprising of executive company description, product and services, market analysis, sales strategy, operational plan, a very thick document that it would take you at least 2 to 3 months to prepare, and sometimes a month to update annually. And the pros of this type of document, it provides directions. It's kind of the compass of the company where they are directing. It's used basically to attract investors and mostly getting loans from banks, and also managing a risk and track your progress. However, it is super time consuming, and it becomes outdated very fast based on this fast-paced development in the market. And it is overcomplicated and basically doesn't ensure success because it's totally disconnected from reality. This is when the business thinker or the academics, they thought, okay, we need to pivot here. And you will hear pivot in the startup word several times. And this is the first pivot in the traditional business by adopting a form, a template where business owner can put their key segments or key values of their businesses in this sheet, and they can run it around weekly or bi-weekly to make sure that they are updated, they are up to speed of the market, and especially in technology. As you can see here in the business model Canva, you have the key partner, basically your customer, and what are your activity, the resources, your value proposition, your customer relationship, customer segment channels, and finally at the end, you'll find the cost structure and revenue stream. This is made for basically an up and running businesses, and this is what's been practiced currently. However, for startups, things are kind of different because you're coming with something new, you're coming with a new idea, a new tech, something that you are disrupting certain elements in the market, and you cannot use the conventional processes of a business. This is when also the startup entrepreneur, talking in the 80s and 90s, they came with the Lean Canva. It's basically also similar to the business model Canva. It comes with different components, and now you will hear different thoughts. You have schools that they say that you need to tackle the problem first, and tackling problem, you need to find a solution, and from the solution, you will derive your unique value proposition, as you can see here in the screen. And from the unique value proposition, if you're going from left to right, you will define your unfair advantages. Then finally, you will verify this by tackling your customer segments and identifying the early adopters. However, based on my practical experience and when I went on the ground, it looks like this is not the fact. You can start from anywhere in the Lean Canva. For example, if you have already an innovation or you have a breakthrough in certain technology that no one has, it is very important to define it and to tackle coming from solution and to find out what problem this solution can solve. It came with different elements. For example, the lithium batteries, that it was discovered long time back. However, the requirement and the need, it didn't come till later when the adoptions of the electrical cars. On the other hand, also, you can think about channels. There is some business entrepreneurs driven by financial profit and revenues. They go and tackle, okay, in the Euro Fund, for example, they have allocated $50 billion for environmental projects. So he will go directly and look at the problem associated with the environmental projects and start developing solutions for these environmental projects because the funds is there. Many startups sometimes fail because you might tackle the problem, you might tackle the solution, but there is lack of funding to launch your startup. So this is basically the Lean Canva. my approach, you can start from anywhere, but in other schools, you will hear that you need to start from the customer or you need to start from the problem. From my practical experience, you can start from anywhere. If you have any questions, please free to ask. Hello?
I have a small question.
Yes, please go ahead. Karim?
So, yes, Karim. So, when you're starting early on, it's hard to get early users to pay, to be willingness to pay, but I don't think you're going to have profit margins. Is that normal to have that in the lean canvas, or is it something to look out to early on?
Sure. Sure. As you said, that it's very hard to find a paying customer at the start of, especially if you are and you're doing your MVP or your prototyping. However, this is why we call you need to develop your minimum valuable product. The minimum valuable product is basically to make sure that there is a willingness of payments, at least when you have your full product ready, up and running in your commercialization. And it's very important, and you'll see it later in the pricing model that I'm going to present later, how to define your sales strategy or your pricing strategy, how to penetrate a market. Many startups decide to go at cost or to provide premiums just to build trust and to build kind of a brand awareness for others to pay later on a later stage. So it has a lot to do about the pricing model and your pricing strategy. But for a startup, from a startup point of view, you need to develop your MVP, your minimum viable product, at a minimum cost, and to make sure that there is a market appetite for it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So any other question? Because my next slide, I'm going to show you how I have started populating my lean canvas. Okay. So let's start here. I met with my partner. He's a dentist, and he told me, Jamal, I have a business model. I want to have to produce aligner to straighten patients' teeth. This is a kind of an orthodontist treatment. It's by providing a transparent aligners for patients. And he told me that I'm going to develop this production center. What do you think about it? I told him, you know what? Let me do some research. Let me check about the market size, about who's your customer, how it can be done. Is it scalable, yes or not? And surprisingly, it came to my attention that majority of people, like more than 65% of the world population, have misaligned teeth. And surprisingly, less than 1% having access to treatment. This leaves almost a $1 trillion of global untapped market. So for me, as a business guy, as a business development guy, this is a very big and complex problem, good to solve. And this is how I started. I started by defining the customers. However, when I dig more and why these patients are not getting their treatment, I found out that the dentists as well have a problem that they cannot adopt such technology. So therefore, I started by the customer segment and defining my customer segments. There will be patients as well as dentists. Following that, I have defined the market size. It's a 945 billion, a serviceable available market for my current region here. It could come up to $48 billion, and the serviceable obtainable market to onboard 1,000 clinics, it would achieve $200 million annually. So what I did now, I just defined my customer. I also quantified the size of the problem that I have. which is very important. As a startup founder, you might solve a very big or very tough problem, but however, its size is very small. Many times, startup comes to me and they solve a problem that it has a $10 million value. And the market share of it will be like in the couple of $100,000, which is, it's not scalable. It's not something that you really, you cannot raise funds to tackle this problem. So it's very important in your lean Canva to define your customers. Not only that, to quantify the problem by define the market size of this problem. Of course, why people are not getting their treatment? Because of the alternatives. The current alternatives are painful. For example, people wear metal braces, which they are painful, they take too much time to maintain, and also they look bad. However, the aligner treatment, which is currently trending now, though it comes with many benefits, it is super expensive, it takes too much to deliver, and at the same time, they have one major problem: people forgot to wear them. So in my slide here, as you can see, I tackled customers, I defined the market size, and what I tackled also, the current alternative of some solutions that they are trying to solve this problem, but they are not doing it properly. So, and this is why I define these problems. We have problems for patients. As I mentioned before, metal braces are painful. They have visibility issues, where the aligner are super expensive, and also it takes too much time to deliver, and also they forgot to wear them. Not only that, my second customer, which is a dentist, they lack digitization, and they need apparently to be a digital clinic to adopt such treatment. Not only that, if they want to produce it in-house, it will take too much time from their time, and they're gonna lose money. Plus, they don't know how to do it. My second step is basically to define my solutions. How I'm gonna solve this problem. And I came very methodologically, me and my partner, the dentist, and by tackling every problem by providing a solution, by adopting technology like applications, a booking app, or a production method, or it could be kind of a business model that I would like to adopt where others are not adopting. This is when I have tackled the patient problem by providing them with a booking app. Not only that, by developing a super fast production method where we can deliver on the next day, where others would take them more than a month to produce the treatment. And finally, we have decided to develop a tracking device to make sure patients are wearing the treatment according to the treatment plan. And once we define our solution, we start extracting from it our unique value proposition. Accessibility, fast start, affordability, 100% guarantee with the fast results. These are a very important sound bites, but they need to be real and you need to test them. Of course, once you have these unique value propositions, you will add the unfair advantage. What is the unfair advantage of fixed aligner? Basically, the founder. My partner, he is one of the pioneers in adopting digital dentistry. So we have the knowledge. We have tested it. And oh, by the way, we have a very successful results with patients. So once we define all of these solutions, the unique value proposition, it's very important to run our MVP. So what we have done, we have tested the treatment with more than 100 patients, and we have 100% satisfaction. Who is our early adopters? Most of them, they came like tourists or people visiting Lebanon for 5 or 6 days. And oh, by the way, it costs in Europe like €10,000, or in the States around like $8,000 we can buy it here for 2,000. Oh, but I cannot get it because sometimes it takes 2 weeks. So what you have done being fast, we can deliver it in the next day. So it's very kind of, you know what, we liked it. Please send us the treatment, and finally they can use it and they can travel with it, and saving $8,000. In the left box here, it's very important to define your resources and how much resources that you need for you to develop, to produce these treatments. And the key matrix. And this is a very important indicator that every startup needs to define. My key metrics is 5 treatments per clinic per month. And I will show you why it's very important later when I'm going to present my pitch deck. Of course, channels, they need to be defined. Insurance company, mainstream. It could be a group of polyclinics that you have already connection with, and you can start your project with them. Finally, and most importantly, your cost revenue model. As you can see here, our pricing is $1,000 per treatment we're sending it to the dentist. The total cost, including the fixed and the variable cost, is $520, and our EBITDA is $460. So we have almost $45 net operating profit. Anyone have a question here?
No, thank you.
Okay. So let's go back to Karim's question about paid customers. It's very important when you launch your MVP and to touch base with your customer to hear their feedback, because it will define your pricing strategy for your business. Be careful if you want to adopt, for example, competitive pricing, and you have an up and running companies, your competitors, they're up and running. They have the brand recognitions, they have their loyal customers, and you're coming down with a startup with a very minimum resources and funds, and you want to compete with them. If you enter with a price war with them, it would be much easier for them to go into the market, lower their price below you, and kick you out from the market. So it's very important when you're going to select your pricing strategy to think very thoughtfully, not about your customer only, but about your competitor as well. There is the other approach, the cost plus pricing, where, okay, my cost is X, I'm going to profit 20%, and here you go. This is my total price. However, this is a very dangerous pricing, because if you have something unique and the value that you are providing is solving a problem that it is like $1 million problem, and you are selling it in $1,000, you're losing opportunities, and you're setting a certain precedent. You cannot ask for more later. Dynamic pricing, it has its advantage, but also it can create many confusions. Dynamic pricing, if you know, is like airplanes. If you're booking your tickets nowadays, for example, the price of the airline tickets just is up to the roof. So it has a lot to do about the supply and demand, and it creates many confusion. Premium pricing also, it has its advantages and its disadvantages. Premium pricing, basically, you can lock customers, and if they like the service, they might be ready with a percentage of 5% to pay later. Skimming pricing, it's interesting. Sometimes you take advantage if you have something really unique in the market that no one has, and you have early adopters, you can ask a lot of money. Psychological pricing, it is basically if you price something high and it's really in the market, it's not that it. You might find customers are more interested to pay more only for their reputation. Bundle pricing, I think you know about it. Value-based pricing, which is, it has a lot to do about the customer willingness of payments. And it has a lot to do about how much you have spent time talking to customers and to value your product and how much you will sell it. Because sometimes people, they will not be willing to pay that much of money, or they are willing to pay much more than we are asking for. Penetration pricing is basically, it has a lot to do about your competitive pricing. Basically, you want to penetrate a market, a new market, and you go very low, maybe at a loss to gain customer, and then you can increase your price later.
Can I ask a question about pricing models?
Sure.
So I want to touch upon something you said, which is setting a precedent. My co-founder and I actually discussed this, and we disagreed on the point of if we should start. So let's say it's a subscription model. Is that we should start at a low price and then increase it, or من الأول increase it? For this idea of setting precedent, do you think it's something that would set a startup back? Is it dangerous?
Of course, raising pricing is dangerous, always. And you need to check your competitor as well. Because
Okay.
at the end of the day, your pricing model, it needs to not to tackle the customer willingness of payment, but also your competition and how much your competition are willing to go below your price.
Yeah.
And this is the most dangerous. I had an experience I would like to share it with you because, and this is what we suffered in our early stage of launching our product. We have decided to adopt a single pricing, a $1,000 pricing per treatment. We discovered that many dentists, that they are basically our paid customers, they said, what if my treatment doesn't take, it's a simple treatment, doesn't take too much steps or too much aligners? Why I need to pay $1,000? We didn't have an answer for this. Where other competitors are providing for simple case, like let's say $700, for a moderate case, $1,200, for an advanced case, a $2,000, for super advanced case, $3,000. We have only one bracket that we are higher than them, which is the simple case, and we didn't have an answer for our dentists. So what we have decided is to adopt a certain technology in our application. And the reason why you adopted the single pricing, because it will eliminate the complexity of the decision making, because patients, they will come, we'll take the scan, we'll send it to the designers, and after 2 to 3 days, we'll decide how much it will cost. This is how dentists are currently working. What we thought that we'll give a single pricing and we'll bypass this lull, this lag of decision making, because maybe patients will change his mind during 2-3 days, or will say, you know what, I'm not interested. What we have decided to do, we have equipped our application with an early assessment method where patients will take a video for their smile or the dentist, and in 5 minutes, we will come back to them with the number of steps with the plus or minus of 20%. And accordingly, we can price it. So what we have done with the dentist, what we told them, okay, if the number of steps came less than 10 steps, for example, we will charge you per steps, and it will cost you, like, let's say, $100 per step. If it came more than 15 steps, it's going to be capped by $1,000. So your pricing method, it has a lot to do, gives and take, and also to touch base what your competitors are providing to your customer as well.
Mm.
And it's
Thank
not
you.
easy to reach to this answer. It took us not less than 6 months. Any other question?
So, like, if you were to look at the criteria in order to decide which pricing strategy is the best, what would those criteria be?
First, your customer willingness of pay. This is one. Second criteria, the problem that you're solving, it needs to be quantified for your patient. For example, I'm saying for your customer, for me, it was a patient. So a patient wants to go and align his teeth in an orthodontist. He's gonna pay almost 1,000 to 1,500 for the metal braces. If he wants to pay for the aligner, it might cost him $2,000 to $3,000. So it's not advisable to sell him $500 because we started to think, okay, let's do a penetration pricing. Let's be very aggressive and gain market share. But once we start hearing from the customer, would you trust a treatment for $500? He will say, hell no. When we ask him, do you trust sending you the treatment without sending it to the doctor? They said, no, it needs to be through a doctor. So this is when we started mixing between cost plus pricing and competitive pricing model. So it has a lot to do about your competitors, how much they are pricing currently, and how much they are ready to go lower. Second, how much is your customer is willing to pay.
Okay, thank you so much.
Welcome. Any other question?
I have a question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Regarding the part where you talked about quantifying the problem, let's say the problem you were solving wasn't something that could be measured with money. It's something, let's say, psychological. Or if you don't solve that problem, let's say it results in death of a certain person. How can you quantify that and set a price?
Yeah, so I had a second startup. Actually, this one I won the AI hackathon in the Silicon Valley.
Nice.
It was a smart pillbox.
Okay.
And when I did the market sizing of it, and I discovered there's annually 150,000 deaths in the United States associated with patients taking the wrong medications or not the right dose of medications.
Okay.
And apparently, in the United States, in their data, they quantify the number of deaths and they managed how to convert it to money.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, there is some way to calculate. It can take too much time, for me to explain, but you'll find out, okay, because of these problems, they go and they got hospitalized 2 or 3 or 4 times to the hospital, and it's costing the government X amount of money.
Okay, deal.
Doris?
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your experience with us.
I cannot hear you. Your voice is too.
Yes. Yes, thank you for sharing your experience with us. I have a simple question about psychological pricing. If the customer is used to pay one time for something, like me, I'm into renewable energy, and I'm charging the customer on the 1 kilowatt per hour, rather than to pay the installment and one-time payment and I disappear. So I am finding that the customer, even though I'm providing them the equipment without any charge, yani I'm lending them the equipment just to pay for the kilowatt, they are a little bit like, they are expressing themselves that they are a little bit annoyed from paying every month a certain fee, even though it is half the price they pay for the diesel. They are used to pay, like for the solar, they pay one time, everything, and there is no more follow-up, or there's no monthly fees. What do you think about that? And if I have to rethink anything, what's your opinion?
As long as you have customer, a paid customer, you're in good hands. So, however, basically the pricing strategy, if you want to measure, is how much is it an obstruction for you to gain a market share? You're gonna always hear customer are not happy about your pricing. Did it happen that someone turned you down and moved to someone else?
They tried to compare to certain competitor. So I show my competitive advantage and the benefits they are gaining from industry latest technology. I show them the benefits, so they accepted it. But if you look at them, like, they are used to the mentality of like they pay one time and that's it, خلاص. They love the other model, but unfortunately, if you want to offer the other model, they have to pay for such an equipment and another fees. It will be higher even, and
Sure.
one-time lump sum.
There's just like I'm just thinking loudly now.
Yeah.
If I'm in your place, I can give them both options, and I will in kind of in my menu. Okay, you have this options. This is a conventional option. This is an installation, 1, 2, 3, 4, hit and run, and you have this other option. And in this other options, you can opt out anytime, but you need to pay for the equipment.
Yes, yes, it's a very nice negotiation. I think if it's put in this way, yes, it's very smart. Thank you, Dr. Jamal.
I'm not a doctor. My name is Jamal.
Okay, Mr. Jamal. Thank you
Jamal.
for the very nice. Thank you for the advice.
Okay, Adam.
Yes, so quick question. Sorry, I don't want to take you into each of our like different specific cases, but I want to think out loud and get your insight.
I lost you.
What you're providing is a service?
Yeah, it
Can
was
you hear me?
breaking. Can you repeat, please?
Yeah, sure. Let me just try to fix my Wi-Fi quickly. You're hearing me well?
Yes, yes.
All right, sorry. So what you're providing is a service that's not really منا شيء موجود عندنا بالسوق, at least in the region. So ما في competitor to base the pricing against to penetrate ولا to do any like high value pricing. Is it better to go for, again, you're providing a service. Would it be better to go for مثلا a freemium pricing ولا bundle pricing ولا commission based pricing? Like كان حدا سألك كمان about what are the criteria, and
Yeah.
in this case what are the criteria that you would look for?
So in case of if you're providing a service that there's no competitors. However, أنا بالنسبة لي إنه I really doubt إنه ما يكون في competitor. There is something, an alternative that they are using or they are adopting, that it is a competition. It is an alternative that they are using other than your solution. And you need to see how much this alternative is costing them and what's its pain.
يعني what you're trying to say.
Let me give you an example, for example,
Please.
Like if you have a SaaS model that it provides, let's say, budget planning or financial planning, and you are the only one that's providing the solution. But again, your competitor it can be a CFO and who's using Excels and market data.
يعني صارت كأني I'm pricing the time that it's taking them to get to what they need.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So
I take that as my benchmark.
Yes, yes. For example, you would say that in your business, your operation, it's costing you X, Y, Z between the human resources, between applications, between 1, 2, 3, 4. If you use my solution, you can cut your resources by 80%. And it will save you X amount of money. It will save you 10,000. I want 1,000. Let's say.
Okay. Okay. Very clear. Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome.
So competition doesn't have to be like someone who's giving the same service as you. It can be like
No.
the traditional alternative
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
currently going on.
In my business, in my startup, my competitor is the orthodontist who's 50 years plus and doing metal braces. And my mission now
Yeah.
is to convince him to be my customer and to adopt my technology.
Okay. Deal.
If you manage to turn your competitor to your customer, this is the main success. This is the biggest success.
Okay.
Any other question?
Jamal, في حدا بالcomments أسامة his mic isn't working and he asked a question.
Okay. Hani, can you read the question, please?
Yes, I was gonna say, for an early stage food startup, replacing a traditional product, is it better to price slightly below the incumbent to encourage switching, match the price to signal equivalent quality?
في شغلة, there's something that I always hear and I have already felt it. If you want to replace a product or you replace an alternative, you need to be 10 times better somewhere. Maybe it doesn't need to be 10 times cheaper. You can be 10 times faster or 10 times better quality. So you might have adopt the same pricing, but you need to make sure that you are 10 times faster or 10 times better. The 10 times multiplier is very important. It's very difficult to convince people to leave a certain product or certain solution and move towards a startup. Because at the end of the day, they see you as a new product, a new company, a small company that you might close tomorrow. And if they put all their trust in you, you will fail them. So it's very dangerous to convince them to be your customer. You need to be 10 times better somewhere. For example, in my startup, we are 10 times faster in delivering a treatment. And we guarantee our product 100%, where no one does. But we are not 10 times cheaper.
Okay, مش الحال جمال.
Okay. So just a recap, the business model Canva, it needs to be used for established businesses. The lean Canva is to be used for startup and new venture, specifically for the early stage. And please, guys, it needs to be updated weekly. If it's not each other day, it needs to be updated weekly. We in my startup, we have version 45. So it's a live document. You need to update it every time. And if you have updated any of these boxes, be sure it is kind of a domino effect. It will affect all the others. Thank you. And what I will do now, I'm going to present my startup, I'm going to show you my pitch deck and how it relates to the lean Canva. So as you can see here, I started by defining the problem at large. 65% of the world population have misaligned teeth, and less than 1% have an access to treatment. leave almost $1 trillion of a global untapped market. So as you can see in this slides, I started by the problem size. And why people are not using the treatments or to align their teeth is because of the associated pain of the current solution. Now I'm talking about the alternative. Metal braces, they are painful, they look bad, require monthly visits, where the aligners, though they have come many advantages, they are invisible, meets many people's lifestyle, they are less painful, they come with different type of pain. Now I'm talking problem of the aligner. It takes too much time to deliver, they are super expensive, and patients forgot to wear them. So this is when my partner, Ilyas Abutaya, he's the dentist, and he has more than 12 years of experience in digital dentistry. And me, I'm an engineer, serial entrepreneur with more than 20 years of experience, managing multi-billion-dollar tech projects, decided to join hands and establish Fixalign, with a mission to unlock the clear treatment to the mass market, the 99%. See it, wear it, track it is our solution. What we have done, we have developed a booking app with an AI assessment to make so the patient can know their treatment in a few seconds. We have developed a super fast production method so we can be able to deliver on the next day. And finally, to tackle the compliance issues, we have developed a tracking device to make sure that patients are wearing the treatment according to the treatment plan. As you can see here, I have merged the solution and the unique value proposition. 10 times faster, booking assessment, compliance issues, 100% guarantee. Now we're talking what we have done in 1 year. We have developed the booking app with smile visualization. We have developed the web portal for the dentist so they can upload the case files. We have onboarded more than 30 Fixaligner clinics. We started working with dentists. And we have set up our first production center with a capacity up to 3,600 treatments per year. Oh, by the way, we managed to open this center using the investment that we got from the Silicon Valley when we went to Draper University. And finally, the tracking device, this is the prototype. We have transformed Smile for more than 100 patients, and we have received amazing testimonials. And regarding the competition landscape, as you can see here, our business model is different. We are B2B2C. We don't compete with dentists. Actually, we promote dentists and we expand their service. In addition, we provide a superior treatment to the patients. We are 10 times faster, 50% less expensive, and also we guarantee our treatment 100% effective. Now we're talking about our target market is to onboard 1,000 clinics in the GCC and Eastern Europe. And here, remember when I mentioned the key metrics, the 5 treatment per dentist per month. So therefore, I managed to create this financial curve. This is a highly correlated with the number of clinics that we are onboarding. If I onboarded 100 clinics and each clinic send us 5 treatments per month, this is 60 treatments per clinic per year. It's equal to 6,000 treatments per year, generating $6 million revenue with 50% net operating profit is $3 million. How about if you have onboarded 1,000 clinics and each clinic sending us a 5 treatment per month? This will result to a $60 million of annual revenue. And this is very important for you to define at the early stage your key metrics. And just an example about other startup that they went for the business and they have exited in multi-billion-dollar revenue. And finally, you talk about your ask. I'm gonna stop sharing now. Okay. Do you have any question?
Yes, please, anybody with questions, you can go ahead and ask. Don't be shy.
Okay, so first of all, well, صراحة عن جد, that's very cool. That's number one. My question is, when you went and asked for investments, when كنتوا بالproduct?
We were MVP at the MVP stage.
So MVP stage, did you have traction? Were people using the product and did it work on people while you were still
Yes.
testing?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so to ask for funding, basically as a benchmark, your product has to be tested, used, or people
Not really.
have a,
Not
not
really.
really?
Not really. In this cohort, in the last cohort, we had one of the top startup in Persona. He yet doesn't have he have an MVP, but not a revenue generating product or the service. And he managed to raise more than 350K because the technology that he's doing is very unique.
Okay.
It has a lot to do about your technology that you're developing and about your product that you are selling. It doesn't mean that, for example, an R&D startup or a deep tech startup, the life cycle of it, it's like not less than 2 to 3 years. And the appetite to invest in these type of startup is low, but when the investment comes, it's too high.
Okay.
And believe me, Karim, investors, especially at the early stage, they invest in founders. They invest in 3 things. When I met Tim Draper, he's a 3rd generation VC in Silicon Valley. And when I asked him, what are the criteria for you to invest? He said, market. Is there a market? And how big is the problem that you're solving? Second is basically how unique is your solution? Is it replicable? Everyone can replicate, or everyone can mirror, or everyone can do it. And finally, and most importantly, the founders. How serious they are, what's their skills, how much they are dedicated for the cause. Because at the end of the day, they know that you will pivot. Your solution in year 1, it might change 3, 4 times in the coming 2 to 3 years.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jamal.
Welcome. Yes,
So
Doris.
we have a question in the chat after Doris.
Thank
Doris,
you.
please go ahead.
Yeah. About the valuation, the business valuation of the company. If we at a stage of MVP level, not, we have payable customer, but paying customer, sorry, but we're on the MVP level. So some of our team is considering to partner with companies outside Lebanon, and they are trying to connect with key person there, and they have a strategy to distribute shares, equity shares. I have a different opinion that it should be, and these people gonna be part of our team. Later on, they will bring more project, even though it's in the same company. So what do you think about this strategy? Is it good, or we should propose revenue shares instead of equity?
Doris, just to give you a fair answer, I'd rather to have a detailed discussion with you later.
Okay.
Because, I think it's not straightforward answer. I need to know more in detail about the background, your solutions, your partner, where are you operating, so I can give you a proper advice at least.
Okay. If I can have your email or
Sure, Hani will share my info
Yeah.
with you
Oh,
later when
okay.
they're gonna share the webinar.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
No
Ali.
worries, welcome.
Okay, we have a question from Mufaru. Will the fixed aligners at some point be widely available and maybe accessible for lower income communities? Is that something considered in the making of the business model, or it comes later when thinking about expansion of customer base?
Okay, let me tell you about our initial idea. Our initial idea is to make everyone to make everyone have straight smiles. And this is basically what we started to think. However, when we started talking to patients and to people, especially in Lebanon, and telling them that, oh, by the way, it's a $500 treatment or a $250 treatment, where it is 2,500 treatment available in the market. Surprisingly, they were very skeptical and they feared from such pricing. And also, the only way to have this this product affordable for يعني, for people that they are on minimum wages, you need to bypass the dentist. And this is basically what we are trying to do. However, we decided not to go for this track because we are gonna gain a lot of competitors. So if we're gonna adopt this one, not this year, not after, maybe in 5 years or 6 years, and it would be under another brand name.
Hey, بنكمل جمال.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm not able to open my mic. I have a question. How to initially estimate the number of users when still at early stage and nothing is certain? Nothing is certain. Also, is it possible to provide your contact for further advice? Yes. Maria, please, when you share the recording, include Jamal's email address in the email that you send for the recording.
I'd
So,
rather also to include the support program link.
sure.
Let them click so they can book with me
So Maria put in the support program link, Kamal. So how would you answer Juliana, who's asking how to estimate the customer base?
So either by benchmarking for similar competitors or similar solution, how you need to run models, like, and it has a lot to do. I don't know about the business that they are talking about. Is it a marketing driven, a social media marketing driven? Is it an app thing, or is it a product related? Is it a hardware, software? I don't know. I don't have an answer, a straightforward answer. I would like to know more about the business to give a proper advice.
Okay, I'm gonna tell like it's an app.
Okay, if it is an app, and if there is something similar to it, it's very. I think let them check. And I think there is a way to check the adoption of these apps, how much subscription they have, how many users they have, and then she needs to compare where she wants to launch it, if it's in Lebanon or it's global, and also to tackle the number of customers whom they are targeting, and let her run a worst case scenario. It could be starting from 0.1% of the TAM, or a best case scenario, a 5%.
Interesting. Okay, we go now to Mateus.
Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity. I have a small question, and I'm not sure if you have talked about it. If you did, I hope you don't mind repeating. So my question is, for someone like me who has validated an idea, but is yet to develop the MVP. Like, when would you advise me to start working on the business model? Like, at what stage of a startup are you supposed to have the business model ready?
Yesterday. Hello?
Hi.
Yes, Matthias, you need to start as soon as possible.
Okay, okay.
You are already late.
Oh, okay.
The Lean Canva model, the business model, it is basically your story.
Yes.
What is the problem that you are solving here? What is the size of the market is there? What is your solution? It's here. How much it will cost is there. By the way, what are your channels here? So the Lean Canva, it's your answer for any questions that you're gonna get later. And you need to answer yourself and to make like self-criticism and self-awareness about all the questions that you have in mind. And you need to find the answers in your Lean Canva.
Okay, okay. For me, the thing is, I know the problem that I'm solving and the value proposition, but I've not yet like compacted them in a form as you showed us. So maybe I should now start working on compacting them together so that they become easy when I'm visualizing them.
Sure. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Welcome.
Jamal, do we have time for more questions?
Sure.
Okay, we go back to the chat. In traditional foods where taste expectations are fixed, what dimension usually works best for the 10x improvement? Health, convenience, or price?
I don't know. I just need to understand. It's very hard.
Traditional foods with taste. Okay, so taste expectations are fixed. So you can't really bet on making it taste better. So what would convenience look like? What would the price look like? What would health? So if you start promoting a healthy alternative, but how much healthier? Is it 10x healthier? Probably not, unless what you're eating is like McDonald's. It's not a straightforward question. Less fat, he said.
Uh, uh, why less? Again, from my thinking, why it needs to be less fat? It's because to solve an obesity problem, and oh, by the way, the obesity problem, it is X amount of money of treatments or diets or something else. I have no answer for it, Hani. I just need to think about it more.
Yeah. Maybe it's a combination of all of them together, maybe.
Yeah, again, like if you need to be 10 times better. This is why I'm stressing on this. If your startup being like I have 10, my food contain less, it has the same taste, but it is less fat. But what is the 10 times value better than the rest? You need to define this. If you don't have it, it's fine. You are not a scalable startup. You are not gonna make the millions. Maybe you will have a decent business that you can run and you can excel.
Okay. From Somali, when benchmarking against competitors to analyze revenue and cost, when you're still in the early stages of prototyping, how can we make sure our analysis is credible and real-based?
Can you repeat, please?
And no, is that you're benchmarking against competitors to analyze their P&L, basically, when you're still early. So if you're an idea stage company or prototyping company, you can't really compare directly to a company that's very big and established. So how do you make the comparison real?
Comparison in what? In pricing?
No, I think she's asking about revenue and cost.
Okay, so there is a price, there is a market price that everyone knows about it. How about your pricing? To define your pricing, and you have a big competitor that is in the market, you need to be, of course, you need to be like more competitive. You need to be like at least like 50% less, like what we are now in front of Invisalign. And oh, by the way, we are 10 times faster. We provide the treatment 10 times faster than Invisalign. And we guarantee the treatment 100% where they don't. So for us to manage and to penetrate a market where we have a very big player, a multi-billion-dollar revenue, you need to be 10 times better in one item. And for us, we are half of the market price, and we are providing 100% guarantee on our treatment. And oh, by the way, we face difficult to penetrate their market.
Okay. The person who was asking about the food question, he's followed up. He's saying the first is a product that uses acidic way to create products. Actually, not only fat, but the usage of the product. So creative usage of the product is also a factor. Okay, I was just making a statement, not a question.
Okay.
Sai, I think we're done. Any final words you'd like to add?
For the food related, I think if there is a breakthrough in their technology or in their research, maybe it makes much more sense in other type of applications. It doesn't need to be food related. It can be kind of feed related for animals, or it can be something related for other stuff. They need to start from the solution and see the solution, what type of problem, bigger problem that they are solving.
Anything you'd like to end with, Jamal?
Good luck, guys. I think like being on this side nowadays, I've been on the receiving end. Enjoy the ride. You're gonna face the roller coasters. Of course, being here in this meeting, it shows a lot of resilience from your end. يعطيكم العافية, and please stay safe. It is a very hard, though being a founder and in the startup world is very difficult. How about coming from this country in such situation? Hopefully in a year or two, we remember these days and we say, yeah, we overcome it. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye everyone. Stay safe.